The following is a Live the Dream Media production.
Hey, we're back with another live episode. What episode number do you think we're on Local,
we're in the 40s.
Local Marana?
We're in the 40s for
40,
sure.
50?
Yeah.
Local Marana, welcome back.
And pardon me for not knowing the exact number because there's just a lot of stuff going on.
Well, I just threw that at him.
Yeah.
There was no, hey, David, do a little research. What number are we?
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back. A little chilly this morning. We were talking about that. Next week, 90s.
I saw 98.
I saw, 95, 98.
That's flirting with that triple digits there. Here we are in April.
Yeah.
Hey, I got married in 2017 and it was mid-April and it was like almost 100 degrees.
I
and it was outside.
remember that.
Oh, man.
I remember that. Matter of fact, I could take you to your reception location right now if you asked me to do it. I couldn't tell you the address or street.
Yeah.
I could take you there.
Yeah.
What was that, your cousin? Cousins?
It was my wife's great aunt.
Yeah. 8 years. You guys have been married 8 years. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And that went by fast, didn't
Yes, it did. Very, very fast.
Hey, David, as Ed Hodney used to always say, Clint, you married up. David, you married up.
Oh, totally understand that. Totally understand that. Hey, what about that bus accident yesterday? That was scary. That was actually
crazy.
Sorry, I'm gonna vehicle collision as a former officer. We'll say vehicle collision. Yeah. How crazy was that?
Yeah, we got the alert. Well, we heard him.
Yeah.
Cruising right on Ina as we were heading out to a business meeting. Mm-hmm. I guess we can say who we were going with. I mean, they're one of our new business
partners. Let's pimp them. Yeah, Westward Look. Let's go.
Go.
Yeah. So, we picked up
John, Rich, Kim.
Yeah. Good peeps
Angel,
out there.
Zach.
Yeah.
Nathan, Evie. Am I missing anybody that was in the room?
Nathan and then the chef. I'm just going to call him Chef Sotelo.
Angel.
Yeah. That was good food too, the nachos and all that stuff. Man, we're just spoiled.
Yeah, we said, hey, we could, because you want something you interested in anything to eat? And we said, we could do some cheese and crackers.
Yeah. But so far I heard that, everybody's okay. I mean, there's some injuries and stuff, but it's always good to hear that. I know it's a scary and startling thing. I know a lot of parents were probably freaking out because it was right at the end of a lot of the school days and and it's just unfortunate it happened. But I did see somebody was arrested, so looking forward to hearing the details on that.
Something happened over there.
Yeah.
Small SUV, it was referred to. And David being a former police officer, you don't just get arrested. Mm-hmm. I don't want to speculate, but it was probably a little more than just carelessness.
Well, there's a pretty small list of things that it could have been. You know what I mean? The Arizona revised statutes or the laws, and there's just a few things that it could have been.
And that happened at, 2:00? Because we were heading up. I don't know when it happened, but we got the alerts, or we heard the first responders on INA at about 2:30. Is when we heard the first responders. And David still has a lot of contacts in law enforcement and at the school district because he worked there as well as a SRO officer. And so we were getting updated on our commute and and then 3 hours later, I'm sitting at home and I get this alert. There's basically right in the same almost location. I guess it was more towards Twin Peaks, but that the road would be shut down. It's going to be shut down for 3 hours, I think was the original text. I've never gotten one of those before.
No,
have you?
No. It's cool though.
Yeah.
I dig it.
And now that I have a Ring at my house, I get a lot of alerts to Bobcat in the area or somebody left their purse somewhere.
Isn't it interesting? They're putting emergency alerts on phone, just like we're putting radio on the phone. It's pretty.
That's why all this lobby for saving AM radio is probably.
It's crazy.
Well,
you got to keep it for emergency stuff. I get it, but
trying
to lobby it. What's that?
I
think there's still some people that use it. I mean, there obviously is. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, but everybody's got a cell phone now, David.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much, literally. I'm not opposed. I mean, if you want to keep AM radio, what do I care?
Yeah.
But I remember, what was it last year? We all got a national, they told us in advance. I remember exactly when it was at 11:52. Everybody was going to get an alert. And I was here and everybody's phone went off at 11, whatever time it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was 11:52, but we got a lot of alerts.
Mm-hmm.
So, I didn't hear what the end result from last night was, but Dan Murray's was there was a lot of cops moving around.
Yeah,
They were kept busy. Yeah,
busy night. You know, I don't know the statistic, but it's good for something. Good for people to go look it up. If you go look up NHTSA, National Highway Safety and Transportation Administration, they put up statistics about different things regarding driving and behaviors, and people using their devices and all that stuff. One thing I remember being in law enforcement was the number of people that are on the road at any given time that are under the influence of drugs or alcohol.
25% is what I remember.
Yeah, I think it's in the
20s.
20s.
I don't know if it's changed or not.
Yeah, so if you look at the cars around you and you're at a light or whatever, there's a very high possibility that somebody in that intersection is under the influence of something, regardless of the day. I did a DUI arrest when I was a police officer at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
I was on my way to was it 2 p.m.? 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. I was on my way to work, and a car just blew a stop sign and almost crushed me, almost T-boned me in my marked police car on my way to work. And dude was
just hammered.
Extreme.
Yeah.
2 p.m. on a Wednesday. I'm like, and I asked him where he was headed, and he was going to the store to get a little more. So, but yeah, so it's just something, they talk about defensive driving and everything, and you just got to pay attention. You just never know. I mean, the other day I was backing out of my driveway, and I always, I have two different cars, right? One has a backup camera and one doesn't, which is like, people probably get nervous thinking about that now, because most people's cars. Yeah. True transparency, I drive a paid off old Kia Sportage. It's a 2015, right? But it doesn't have a backup camera. But I always look and I check my mirrors. And thankfully I did, because right when I checked my mirror, I looked back, didn't see anything, but I check my mirror and I see the legs of a young child walking right from behind my car in my driveway. My driveway sits like this. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad.
Where's mom and dad at?
Well, they were in their house. Kids were walking down to the bus stop on the sidewalk. Yeah. And freaked me out. Yeah. So you just pay like that little moment could have been really changing if I just went, I'm not going to look at the mirror today. I'm just going to, I look back, I'm good. It's just, man, it scared the heck out of me.
2 points. Anybody that knows my story of hard drive. I drove professionally for a number of years. So I learned there's no backup cameras. You just back up, and my vehicles have cameras in them and have for a while. But my wife's always like, well, use the camera. And I'm like, that's not how I back up. I use the mirrors, and camera tells me when to stop basically now. But when I was doing my walkathon a few years ago, I almost got hammered in a neighborhood, my neighborhood, walking, and somebody came just like peeling backwards out of their driveway, and and they actually made contact with me, just glancing, because and I got my headphones on, so I'm probably not as watching maybe, and I just caught them out of the corner of my eye and was able to turn just at the last minute. And they're like, and I'm like, yeah, you probably ought to look before you come, doing the Batman out of the driveway, because. Yeah, I know that story a couple of times where people have backed over their own children or grandchildren. That can you imagine?
No. I had a friend that ran over his own cat.
That'd be bad.
Yeah, the cat was like sleeping behind the tire, and we were in high school, and he just unfortunately.
I can't say I always do it, but I do it most of the time. I get in my vehicle by going around behind my vehicle.
Yeah, I'm gonna just start backing into the driveway, and that way when I leave, I'm just facing forward already.
Well, the cat could be laying under the front.
That's true. Yeah, the cat. I think the cat. We don't know how the cat was feeling that day. Yeah. Maybe the cat was going through some stuff. Yeah. Bless that cat's heart, but we don't.
They ended the 9 lives.
So bad.
I want to shift a little bit to local Marana, where we're housed, one of the places that we call home, and we love it here. And we're so proud of what has happened, and proud of our efforts of maintaining it. And anybody that knows us knows we're heavily involved in this community. And I was talking to a young gentleman a few minutes ago about Tucson and his crusade in Tucson to shed the light and do all that.
That's a great word, crusade. I haven't heard that in a while.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Matter of fact, he should name his company the Crusaders or something like that.
Yeah.
Met a nice young man that was working with him, Alexander. And we were talking. I know he wants to maybe play a little more of a role with what we're doing, and we would say yes, of course, to that. But here's what I told him: south the river, I'm not interested. Self-inflicted wounds. I'm not even going to shout out elected officials, and I'm going somewhere with this. I said, here's what we do: we lift up Marana and we lift up Oro Valley. And we want to do a better job of influencing what goes on in Oro Valley. We're going to do it tonight at the Oro Valley Church of the Nazarenes hearing before the council. I just believe the best way to tackle problems is provide the alternative rather than point out the obvious. That's just my take. And I said to him, that's why we spend so much time and effort in Marana. This is a shout out again to all the leaders. John Post, John Officer, get well quick, John Officer, by the way, and Patty and Roxanne and Mr. Kai, Herb, Terry, all the Jeff, Bridget with the police department. They're exemplary leaders, and it shows. Right? We don't always agree with them. You know, we get after them a little bit once in a while, and they get after us a little bit, and that's okay. We're okay with that. But leadership's so important, and until the city of Tucson changes their leadership, that's just the way they're going to be. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And
I didn't want to discourage him. I'm like, keep fighting the fight, and he said, I will. I'll be on the front lines. But I had to kind of be blunt with the guy.
Yeah. Well, I think he sees the opportunity in the new age media. I think, you talk about the recent election. We'll talk about the national election, right? For president. And you saw a huge shift in voting. But one thing we did talk about was you didn't see a shift here locally.
Actually, you saw a shift, David, and it was further away from
which was
the national shift.
Yeah, which was really, really interesting. So, and you go back and you look, and you really didn't see, what? It's very obvious there's some news organizations here in town that are in the pockets of some of these folks.
100%.
That are on that side. And you guys can target us and say whatever you want, but the whispers are out there, right? And I think he sees that opportunity that he can fill that void of kind of balancing out perspectives, because a lot of times a lot of us are just hit with just one perspective instead of the common sense thing. Like for instance, I heard Chris talking this morning that the city of Tucson 10 days ago approved a law that people can live in washes, right? Out of compassion. But you go out of compassion, you're setting those folks up for July and August to potentially die from monsoon.
That's just lazy leadership.
Right.
That's lazy.
So it gets when I started looking up some of the stuff about it was really painted as a champion for homelessness or whatever you guys want to call that, unhoused or everything, right? Like that. And so you go north of River, Clint. We're not doing that over here.
No.
You're doing the right thing and protecting lives. Everybody, we see what's going on here in the community, and I'm like, so I sympathize with what he's trying to do, and I think that he's got a shot at it because I think he is building a great following, and I think efforts of Chris and guys like Damien showed on 414, the prop that was there in town. I think Chris and his platform had a huge impact on that. Same with Josh Jacobson, all the people he brought in and he worked with on that. I think that was a result of the first time seeing people utilizing media outside of the traditional stuff. And I did see some of the news networks picked up Josh and had him talk and whatever, but it was just such a quick little hit, right? It wasn't the 30, 40, 45 minutes that he had here.
Right.
Or that he could have on whatever Damien's going to do. But going back to it, I think he sees the opportunity. Yeah. It's just, it's going to take time. It's going to take commitment. It's going to take a long time. It's going to take a few years. But I think, even from some people I talked to, that the Democrats or whoever that are running in Tucson, I think I've been hearing they're a little more common sense based.
Or Jesse Lugo.
Yeah. In full transparency, I'm an independent, so I don't, you know what I mean? I don't join cults or whatever you say, or join sides, but I do support people that are making sense. Yeah. And Jesse Lugo over there, I've had an opportunity to sit with him and talk to him quite a bit. Turns out a lot of our family grew up in the same area. Yeah. I think that you'll start seeing some changes. I'm optimistic. Yeah.
Well, me, we were talking about it. I'm an eternal optimist, but I'm not optimistic about that right now because the hole's too deep. And for full clarification, I'm an independent, like you just said, 100%. This is not even a choice on it's just too easy because I don't, and you mentioned the media and stuff, and it's true. But you know what, David? You and I are subjected to the same media, and we have the information because we choose to dig a little deeper, and that's where I would challenge anybody that's wants their community to be, whether it's here, Tucson, Phoenix, Chicago, Illinois. If you want your neighborhood or community to be better, you have to equip yourself with the facts. Don't wait for somebody to come and bring it to you. And as I've said so often, I'm not really holding the leadership accountable. I'm holding the voters, your friends, family, neighbors are the ones actually voting these people in. You should be holding them accountable and don't just go vote R or D because that's what your mom or dad did. You need to be investigating. And I'm proud of what we did last year at Live the Dream Media in our political efforts. We supported the people that we didn't care about their party. Mm-hmm. We'd ask them, what's your viewpoints? But when you looked at it, we supported equally all parties, including independents. It was like across the board because I don't care about the R or D behind your name or I care about what kind of a man or woman you are and what you stand for. And you and I made a couple of business decisions that might not have been to our advantage financially because we just couldn't get behind those candidates. Mm-hmm. And Live the Dream Media is right now under small attack from some of these elected officials. I know for a fact. Some of them have said disparaging things and to people that we know, quit hanging with those guys over there because they're, and the thing of it is obviously they don't listen, at least these shows, my show, because we're as down the middle as you could possibly be, which is refreshing. By the way, did you get a chance to look at that little video I sent you last night? Jane Curtin and Dan Aykroyd.
No, I did not. No, I watched the other one. Sorry, yeah.
We need more of that with less Dan Aykroyd calling Jane Curtin names.
Well, I remember you guys talking about that. That show. Yeah.
Some of you older cats will understand what I'm saying. Hey, Shay, you want to run us to a real quick commercial break, and we'll be back with some more local Marana with David Samarano and Clint Peak.
Looking for the best outdoor patio in Tucson? Look no further than St. Philip's Plaza at the southeast corner of River and Campbell, where you can sip on Tucson's finest collection of whiskey at Union Public House, brunch 7 days a week at Reforma Modern Mexican Mezcal and Tequila, and experience our newest restaurant, Proof, proudly serving house-made pasta and artisanal pizza. Enjoy live music and dine under the stars with Union, Reforma, and Proof. Join us at St. Philip's Plaza.
Hi, this is Sean McCluskey, co-owner and designated broker for Rincon Ventures. If you're a rental owner by choice or by accident and you're looking to hire or change property management companies, consider Rincon Ventures. We employ an aggressive web-based advertising strategy to market your rental. We thoroughly screen prospective tenants and conduct routine property inspections. Our online system gives tenants the ability to pay rent and file maintenance requests instantly over the web. Our owners can use the same system to instantly check on their properties. Call Rincon Ventures at 881-2258 or visit us on the web at rvprop.com.
80% of those that have been incarcerated have been in foster care. So that's crazy to think that 8 out of every 10 inmates, male or female, have touched the foster care system. So if we can break the cycles that cause the foster care system to even be in existence, we're going to change society.
At GAP, I found love.
I found family.
It means hope. It was almost like I had a family away from my own family. At GAP, I found home.
And we are back. You know, there's some really cool stuff happening in our world. I know we throw it out there a lot, and our regular followers and listeners and viewers know that. But just wake up every morning excited to come to work. I don't know about you, but you come to work a little earlier than I do.
Yeah. Some days.
Yeah.
I came, I got here just a little bit before you guys today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't race in unless I have to anymore. I'm watching
Good
at
for
home.
you, as you shouldn't.
I'm watching at home,
Yeah.
but
I think your guest is
is he here?
arriving.
Yeah, cool. Our guest.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to talk about a real cool events coming up 2 weeks from tomorrow, April 17th. I think it starts,
10?
10? Goes to 1. Don't know if there's any tickets left or not. Normally these
Sold out.
Okay.
I looked yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, it's sold out.
So state of the town of Marana to be a new. Get with you. Javier's here. We're going to get with him in just a minute. He's fresh from a chamber meeting probably
look at him.
right now.
Yeah, he is.
So we will we'll be there. We're looking forward to it. It's always a highlight event for us in the town.
Mm-hmm.
And talk a little bit about that, David.
Yeah, no, it's a great event. It's at the Ritz-Carlton. You have many businesses line up in the entryway for you to see different things, organizations, non-for-profits. You can learn a lot of information about them. It's a great networking event, and I think that's why the tickets sell out so quick. Mm-hmm. And it's a great opportunity to just have some one-on-one conversations with leaders and influencers in the community and stuff, that are people that are really involved, business leaders. And the presentation's great. They give out some things like the Branding Iron Award, mm-hmm. where somebody that's making a big impact in the town, and then you hear about projects and some of the cool stuff that's been done, some of the big partners in town. I think last year we heard from CTI and some of the other places. And it's just great to hear what they're doing, what's going on, and what's coming. People get caught up with what's here now, but there's a lot of different things that are coming. And Terry Rosamond was recently on. He's the town manager, for those that don't know. He was recently on Ron Arenas' podcast at pre-recording. That's going to come out tomorrow. So don't miss that, because he talks about
9 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, he talks about a lot of cool stuff that's going to be coming. So I'm not going to steal that thunder, but it's just it's a great event, and we are now an official media partner with the Marana Chamber of Commerce, and we're grateful for that opportunity. And the State of the Town video you're going to see there is going to be from Live the Dream Media, and and it captures stuff going on here in the community. Local businesses, big businesses. I know that there was filming happening when I did my Impact Marana class out at Cal Portland, and it was so windy that day, and all the dust and everything was just blowing all over the place. So props to Kaylee doing the video work that day. And she had to wear a hard hat. I was like, is this the first time you had to wear a hard hat while you're out filming? She's like, yeah, for sure. So, but yeah, just great things. And I hope we see you there. Look for us. We've got a table, and it's just a great time for us to just kind of put everything else aside and talk about things that need to happen. How can we help each other? And just celebrate a little bit.
It's almost kind of like homecoming for the community, because I'm thinking of all the different people we're going to see there. The groups that I'm involved with.
I never see anybody grumpy there.
No,
don't show up grumpy.
Yeah, it's just everybody's cranked up and excited, and but yeah, we're thrilled to be a part of that this year. On the big screen. We're looking forward to that. Now, did you show me a little preview of that?
I did show you a little preview.
And it's really cool. It looked pretty awesome. One more thing real quick. It will be the first in many, many years that Mayor Ed, of course, who passed away recently, Mayor Ed Honey, will not be there, but John Post will be sliding into that. I know Whit Honey is going to be there. I'm not sure about Tiffany, but I know Whit's going to be there. But John, this is John's first shot as the mayor in the town, the state of the town. And I got to shout him out. What a good guy! He has really, what's the word? Blossomed.
Taking the role,
because that was kind of his concern early on. The first day that I remember talking to John. And he was concerned about that.
The shoes to fill are, anytime you got to do that. It's like, You can't
said,
fill those.
Clint, I can do the mayor stuff, the paperwork and all that, but I can't do. And I said, you can't do the pom-poms, the cheerleader stuff like he did. And even try to do it that way.
Whoa.
But, okay, we're going to wrap it up. We got a special guest coming on here in a minute. Shay, take us out to a quick commercial break, and we're going to get Javier on here in just a minute.
Hola, I'm Fatima Campos, owner of Incas. With just one taste, you will understand why Peruvian cuisine is one of the best in the world. The blending of spices, international flavors, ingredients imported from Peru, fresh dishes, unique, authentic, and delicious. Incas Peruvian Cuisine, southwest corner of Sunrise and Cove. Visit us at incasperuviancuisine.com. Adios margaritas. Hola pisco sour.
We are back. Look who we got. Just go ahead and introduce yourself right here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
My name is Javier Avalos, and I'm the proud owner of Spectrum Minor Road Auto Collision. We're celebrating 33 years here in the town of Marana.
Isn't that awesome?
It's amazing.
Hey, go ahead, and you were just as we came back from commercial break, and Shay, thank you for being back there. You're just awesome. We keep her on her toes. We ad lib a lot on the Clint Peak Show and the local Marana show. Go ahead. You were just discussing when this portion of town that we're in right now was annexed into Marana.
Yes.
Go ahead, talk about that. I don't know when that happened because it had already happened by the time I got here.
By the time you got here, actually, there was. This is what people don't know about Marana is people. That do things in Marana. Hervey Davis was the town manager back in one day. And here I am coming in from California, all cocky, saying, yeah, I'm going to build this great new place, business and stuff like that. So what he did was he walked around all of Ina and Thornydale looking for businesses to propose and help them incorporate Marana or this section of Pima County into Marana. And he came into the office and he says, this is what our vision is. It's people doing business with people. And I go, you know what? Okay, I know the politician. Here we go. He goes, I'd like for you to attend a meeting. So we went, and it was Michael Street. There were a lot of small businesses around here. And we all showed up. And within 10 minutes, I said, how do we join?
Yeah.
What is it that we can do?
What time frame are we talking about?
We're talking
early 90s, mid 90s?
Early 90s was when it started. And Hervey's vision was to, because it's always, Marana has always been the stepchild of Pima County, right? And forget Oro Valley. They're their own country. They don't know where they're living at. So,
but for full disclosure, you and I both sleep in Oro Valley.
Yes, we do. We sleep in the Oro Valley. I know, and I'm going to get shot, but who cares, you know?
No, it's okay.
So ever since then, he kept his promise. He kept the promises of Mayor Ora May was the mayor at that time. Oh my gosh, it's coming back. And what they wanted to do was be pro-business, which it's unheard of, right?
Yeah.
So they
especially in this environment that this bubble here.
Oh, absolutely. Because the permitting part of it, or new businesses coming in, and they were saying, how can we want to do business in Marana. How can we do that? So Hervey, his vision was like doing things away with all the bureaucratic paperwork. It says, you want to bring a business? Here's what you need to do and follow this. And to this day, especially with Terry Rosamond, that's been doing a fabulous job out there.
Yeah.
And the mayor, Erjoni, he was a champion for businesses. So now with John Post taking over the helm, the thing I love about him is that he's a business owner.
He's a business owner.
And he understands the challenges that go there. So if we as businesses do well, our clients are going to do well. And give you just one more scenario, Ina Road, the overpass, right? The local community came out and supported the donut wheelhouse. They supported all of us. So I believe there were only 3 businesses that shut down by design, not because of the construction. So those businesses had to go away because the overpass came by. But I can tell you that any issues, any concerns that we all have, the town has always been there for us.
I echo that. I always say that I don't always get the answer I want. I don't always get the answer I want, but I get an answer.
Right.
And that's important.
Right.
Because now I can go back if I don't get the answer I want and go, well, what can we do?
I can
Is that fair enough?
Yeah. And here's one thing that they, I know the mayor, they'll always go to the events, right? And when they say that they're approachable, they're approachable.
Ed gave you his home number when he and I drove him around a lot the last few years of his life. He couldn't see well, and I was more than happy to drive him. He got phone calls all day long.
Oh,
and it wasn't. I mean, there were some elected officials, but there were a lot of people that just out in some neighborhood had a problem, and he'd get a call and he's, well, I'll check on that for you, and knew everybody by the way.
No, exactly.
That was really cool. I got to tell you one quick story. I was complaining about something, and anybody that knows me knows I complain a lot about stuff. I just want to make it right. So I was complaining to Patty Cumberford about something, and it was following a chamber meeting.
Okay.
She'd come over and she was talking, and I was complaining about something, and I was over at the bakery, and we've been there 20 years, so we know a little bit about.
Just a little
bit about what's going on there.
I miss your mom, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Did you see that picture of her and Ed both hanging over there? They were both champions of what we were doing. Yeah, thank you. That's kind of you. But I was complaining to Patty, and on a Wednesday, she came over after the chamber. The very next day, Gilbert Davidson, who was the town manager at that time, he showed up in person. Gosh. Right? I mean, that doesn't happen anywhere else.
No, it does.
He comes right over, and Gilbert and I have a great relationship. I'm going to go up and see him here pretty soon at his new digs up there, and I don't blame him for being there.
No,
but he was right there,
right?
And just I don't even remember what I was something. I don't remember what it was, and we talked it through, and it was making sausage. You know what I mean? Okay, Gilbert, I need this, and he'd go, well, Clint, I can do that, and we worked it, whatever it was, we worked it out.
Right. Well, remember, because one of the instances that we had, when you say that you were complaining, you were just expressing your opinions, right?
I use the word complaining. I really wasn't. I was expressing. I prefer that.
Remember the signage?
Don't even get me started up here. Don't get me
Remember
started.
Remember the signage? Oh my God! So we had to go, and that was during the closure, right?
Yeah.
So they wanted us to submit a permit for a signage, and I go, wait a minute, guys,
stop it!
Come on, as it is, this is going to be a hardship, and talking about Patty. One of the early ons, they were saying on the news, they were constantly saying, Ina Road is closed.
Yeah.
Ina Road is closed. And I got up in one of those meetings and I go, you have to remove that verbiage.
Yeah.
Ina Road is not closed. It's the off-ramp.
Ina Road is very much open.
Right.
It's just a little more difficult to get here.
Right, exactly.
You mentioned the signage, and mine actually goes back even further. It went before the Supreme Court, And I think that was 15. The road closure happened in 17, and
Right.
everything you said was totally accurate. They got a little wacky right then
Oh,
because
yeah.
they had nothing to do, really, I guess, over here. But Bill Lorfus, if you remember Bill,
Of course, yeah.
wonderful human being. I love Bill. I wish he hadn't moved. I talk to Bill still.
Do you? Tell him I say hello. He
I
knows
will.
me.
Yeah, he's a good dude. So I put a sign out. And Bill comes by. He's the code enforcement officer or whatever his title was.
Right.
And I didn't know Bill. And he came by and he said, "Hey," he came back to the bakery because it was a cinnamon roll sign. He said, "Hey, you need to remove and this and that." And I'm like, "You stay right here, young man." And I went and got my signs, brought him in, and then I hate to say lit into him, but I told him this is not personal. I don't know you, but I'm going to give you. You know what? He and I became awesome friends. We used Reed versus Gilbert, which was the Supreme Court ruling on Reed versus Gilbert. That's Gilbert, Arizona, Reverend Reed. And it was 9-0. They ruled in favor of Reverend Reed against the town of Gilbert.
Okay.
And I called Bill on the phone, on his personal phone, and said, 9-0. We'll talk about this next time you come by.
Oh, my God.
And you know what? He and I just developed this incredible friendship, totally disagreeing on what was going on.
Right.
But it changed his thinking and it changed my thinking. The bureaucrats and business owners can work together if we find that common ground and we care about each other and we're not just doing like they're doing south of the river, just imposing their will wherever they want.
And that's the difference for people that truly understand today what the town of Marana does. Do I have issues with some of their things? Oh, absolutely. But, it takes a phone call. It takes, you can walk up to them on the street and they're not going to be apprehensive of anything. We have a situation going on in the back of our building when Catalina Towing is coming in and they're building a huge facility for the town and they're getting away from up in Catalina. And the city of Water has made it so difficult. I mean, they put a fire hydrant in the middle of the road. Everybody admitted fault except one official that says, for the city of Tucson Water, that says, we're not going to move it. It is what it is. If you want to move it, it's $14,000. I called John Post. I called Terry. I go, Terry, this is what they're doing to us. They went out and they talked to them. And they didn't listen to them either. Right. And now we're dealing with a city of Tucson Waters and their officials that now they have passed it over to their attorney. So this is the type of business that we go to the town of Marana and they take action.
Yeah.
Okay. And you go out of other districts and they don't. So, it just goes to show you that doing business, I mean, I have two other businesses and I shut them down. But the reason why I wanted to live here, work here in Marana, because, the communities were making us succeed.
And you mentioned the word people. It's the people. It's the individuals. The Post family's been here for, I don't know.
Generation.
Yeah. The Kai families.
Right.
The family has been here almost 100 years. The Honey family. Ed talked about him as a child. His parents started the first water company, and he is a 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old. Him and his brother were digging water lines in this soil.
Right.
So and I've always said Marana is not here where we're at by accident. Now, there's a good fortune of geographically located on 10.
Sure.
Runs through that's a great thing. That's but the community as a whole has grown the way it's grown because of the people involved had a clear, people like that had clear visions of what they wanted. And that's why it's so important as we move into these new, we got an election coming up next year, 5 seats are open.
Correct.
It's important that the community gets involved, stays involved. If you like what's going on, then we need to keep
it going.
Keep it
Absolutely.
going. If you don't, then question what you need to question. But
correct.
We've had a lot of conversations with the elected officials. What we're doing now, could change in the next 3 years.
Oh, absolutely.
If we're not really proactive.
I think Kurt Woody, good friend of ours, came back and he gives us updates on a monthly basis. I serve on the board of directors for the Marana Chamber. Mm-hmm. And the vision that has always been set forth by the council has been amazing. Mm-hmm. That's why you continue to have that growth. People and the families that are coming into living Marana is because of that leadership that keeps happening on there. And kudos to them that they will keep it going. Now, one of the things that I like to see is us businesses support in open forum with those individuals that want to make it their home, and we'll share with them the stories of how we as businesses, and some of us that live here don't have those issues that the other stepchildren that they have.
You know, well, I moved here to Oro Valley, but I've been in Ed used to introduce me. This is Clint. He lives in Marana. He sleeps in Oro Valley, which is that's just true. My waking hours are primarily spent in Marana, and then I go home. Although one of the last times I had him in the vehicle, Tammy and I were taking him to a Veterans Day thing, and we showed him some property we're looking at on Moore Road, which is actually in Marana.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't need much space. I said, well, you know what? We'll build you a little grandpa wing on this thing, 1,400 feet. That's all you need.
All you need is your TV,
a little bedroom, a little
recliner.
And you're going to be eating with us anyway, so you don't need much. But that we just miss him so much.
Oh, absolutely.
He's just such a good guy, and we mentioned a while ago, you just can't replace. No. You can't replace him. You just can't. Just do the best job you can. I said that to Terry and John Officer. I said, the four of us probably spent more time with Ed than anybody because we all hauled him around and we were involved in a lot of stuff with him. And I said, we all know what he wanted to do, and we need to work together as quickly as possible to accomplish those things.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And we meet and talk on a regular basis. What can we do to, the community center is opening next month.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the swimming pool is amazing. Yeah. That's really.
And I'm sorry he didn't get to see that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry some of the things that we're doing, he will not get to see that. He was, and I'm going to jump real quick. Hey Shay, we're not going to do any more commercial breaks through this. We'll drive on through. We'll make it up to them another day. We play them a lot. We play our commercials. Our people, we love our advertisers,
right?
Absolutely, we play them a lot. But tonight we're going to the Oro Valley Town Council with the Oro Valley Church of Nazarene. I'm part of that, and
I'm a big supporter of that. And again, what a mess that is, huh?
They couldn't have screwed it up anymore.
Right.
The council I'm talking about.
And
I know a lot of people on the council, and they call me. I probably know, I know as many over there as I do over here. I'm going to tell you something, though, Javier. We're done. As a church, as a community, we have 4 candidates. I'm saying right now, we got 4 candidates, and we're running them, and we're gonna, if God's willing, we're going to take the council in Oro Valley next year, and I'm looking right at you, and I need your support. It's time to get this bedroom community mentality and no growth. It's got to stop.
We need, whether it's the right place to say it or not, we need diversity.
We do.
Diversity. Satish Harmath, good friend of my ex-mayor, he always talked to me about, will you consider? And I go, I don't have what it takes to govern or be part of that community, but it's time to look into it. Right now, there's too many young people. They have to leave Oro Valley to go
get
there.
See, that's a fact.
See, they go somewhere else to get either entertainment, good quality restaurant. Not that there isn't any, but the shopping. It's a shame to see the marketplace, Oro Valley Market, empty.
Yeah.
How does that happen? You have a community, a mid-class to upper middle class that are looking for good quality shopping, right? These individuals, they drive up to Chandler for shopping. Why can't we keep those individuals here?
And I know so many of those people you're talking about. They're 40s, they're raising children, and we don't really have any jobs.
No.
And I've talked to a lot of the people that we're going to support for town, because we've been actively recruiting candidates for the last 2 or 3 years. We have a whole political division to Live the Dream. Do you know that? And we've supported a bunch of candidates over the last 2 years, and David and I were just talking about it. And the cool thing is, we don't ask them what party they're with. I just want to know what their policies and what their thought process is. Because I'll say it again. I've said it already once in this. You know me. I'm a registered independent because I don't join cults of any kind.
Correct.
It's just that I'm an independent. Hey, I have conservative viewpoints when it comes to finance. Take care of the money.
Right.
But the rest of it, I'm not going to necessarily take someone's word for that. Because what my wife will yell across the house, "Hey, Clint, did you hear?" And I'm like, "What's your source?"
Exactly. And you know what?
And not just one source. I need at least three independent sources.
Three independent sources. And my thinking is the same way because, again, during running a business, you have to be conservative, right? That way you can deliver.
Finances, at least.
Well, with finances and the quality of materials, the quality of service has to be there. Because, again, I am a prime example of what a community can do for you and what they cannot do for you. Again, my biggest heroes have been the donut wheel. Okay, small little mom and pop shop.
Been there for 40 years or something crazy like that.
They consistently they produce a great product. During the construction, people would drive from back, on the east side, wherever, just to support that business. Why? Because he gives back. He also provides a great product. And the bottom line with Oro Valley is that really, I mean, when we came in 34 years ago from Southern Cal, they say, well, this is all Chicago money. This is all money. Things ain't going to change. Things. Well, you know what? Things did change. Our youth left. Our youth left.
My kids, my daughter, who's pregnant with our first grandchild.
Oh, congratulations.
Like 4 weeks from today or something like that. They're in Boise because he's an engineer, or not an engineer, he's an electrician. Great job offer. And we were going to set him up. Right. I was just going to set him up I couldn't compete with what and then I went to Boise, and I hadn't been there in years. Unreal what's going on in Boise.
Right.
Just the growth, and it's clean, and it's like, this is great leadership.
And that's, there's room for everything.
There is.
There's room for, I understand that, you as a snowbird, and this is your second home, and you come in because, you're leaving Chicago, Minnesota, and it's freezing, and now you're coming over here. Respect our community.
100%. You and I live where a lot of snowbirds are at, where we're at, right?
Absolutely.
And you think about all the change. How long have you lived where you're at?
I've been there 19 years.
Okay, so I've been there 17 years.
Okay.
And we live basically in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, but I live south of you, so.
Okay. But you're close enough to walk through the hood.
Yeah.
Think about all the changes we've seen in our neighborhood in that 16, 18, 19, a school.
Right.
The new roundabout.
Correct.
Center Point was put in. We were told that was not going to affect our life at all. Hey, Javier, I got to come out of my driveway basically doing 45 miles an hour. I'm going to get run over at rush hour.
Right, exactly.
That's part of the growth, and that's the thing that we've got to solve. We got to fix that in Oro Valley.
Correct.
To move forward. And I've talked to a lot of these new people that are running. They've got some great ideas. you mentioned annexing, how Marana annexed this. We need to be annexing a whole bunch of stuff in Oro Valley into the tax base and stuff that goes with that.
Correct.
And it takes them out of the county, and now they're part of.
And this is what these individuals right now are not seeing that. It goes back to, okay, what's good for the people of Oro Valley, not what's good for some individuals in Oro Valley.
Yeah.
Look at, I mean, you go to morning breakfasts or even, let's say you go to where you worship. Look at the amount of young people that are there. This is incredible. So we gotta continue to build for them.
You should see how many young people we have at OBCN, Oro Valley Church Nazarene. You cannot believe how many people we have that have small children. I mean, hundreds. When they do their, I forget what they call it now. It's the Vacation Bible School, but we don't call it that. It's more of a sports. At one point, there were 800 children on the platform. 800. At any one given time, there'll be 400 or 500 or 600 children.
Right.
Wednesday, we have, and like the young adults, the high school and young adults, hundreds. That's why when we were wanting to build the youth complex there,
right,
it was like, well, we're with our own money on our own property, next to a high school. And so I had, long story short, Ed, I've told this story numerous times. I had Ed in the car with me. It was probably about 3 years ago. I think it was 2022. And I had Ed in the car. I knew they were all going somewhere together. The councils were all going to get together. I think it was Sal Rita was having their state of the town, I think is what it was. And he called me back a couple of days later and he goes, Clint, that's not going to happen. And it was like, what do you mean it's not going to happen? We got our money, we got our ground, he goes, no, I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. And then a couple of days later, he calls me back and goes, how about MCN? And I knew what he was talking about. It was Marana Church of the Nazarene. Clint, I'll get you 20 acres over by Dove Mountain. And in December, right after he passed away, so he didn't see this come to fruition, we bought 30 acres just south of Dove Mountain.
Oh, my God.
On Twin Peaks. From Alan Murdoch, who's a dear friend of ours, and I didn't know it was his property.
Oh, my God.
And it was during my mom's celebration of life when that all went down.
Not to interrupt, got to tell you a quick story about Mom. So I'm a cyclist. So every Saturday morning, we would cycle at 6:30 in the morning up at La Cañada, and who do I see coming every day?
With Chase.
With Chase. And then one day I go, next Saturday I need cookies. And guess what? She will have cookies for us. Yeah. So I would love that. But, it's amazing how the town of Marana cannot, I understand, at what point are they going to let the people decide what needs to be done? Okay. And yes, we elected them, but even that's questionable. That's very questionable. There's some individuals there that they should no longer be there, but a church is important for our community. They built this beautiful Naranjo Park and everything is wonderful there. Kudos to that but that's not enough.
Hey, do you remember when they were building Riverfront Park over there?
Oh my gosh,
the fight that took place over there, it was unbelievable. There were people threatening each other, and you know what? You can't even get into that park anymore. It's just we went over there a couple Saturdays ago for something. You couldn't even find a parking place in there. They were just jammed in there, and I'm like, we need more and more facilities.
Correct.
What do you expect our young people to do if there's not resources available? They're gonna sit in their house and play games. I'm not knocking gamers, but they're gonna find other ways to spend their time. They're young. We need to. That's why it's so important for us, not just Oro Valley Church of the Nazarene, but anybody that wants to do things that are positive and uplifting for children and providing them opportunities to grow physically, spiritually, mentally. Right? We should all be encouraging that.
Absolutely. And that's what community is all about.
Exactly.
That's what governing is all about, is listening to the individuals, those families. And I have heard from several individuals that a couple of people that are against it, their excuse for not moving forward is absurd.
Yeah.
The same thing happened with the St. Mark's Catholic
Exactly.
Church. Okay, I was part of that. Okay, I was part of that because we had come from St. Elizabeth and Seton, and then they were building the new church, and oh my God, the cross is too high, the cross is too thick. What, again,
we did a lot of stuff for you guys back in the day.
Yes,
we
you
catered
did.
a lot of stuff when you were back in the small building back there.
Oh, absolutely.
And we watched that, and it was like insane what was going on. I'm like, not that I think churches should just be able to.
No,
That's
within
not
reason.
what I'm saying, but
Sure.
within reason, let them go. I mean, these people are putting their own money, time, resources into.
They're not asking for anything other than just say, this is what is going to enhance the community. All denominations will come and use it, not just XYZ.
Yeah. Hey, so we're going to wrap up in just a real quick second. I'll get the date for you, but there's a prayer breakfast at OBCN.
Okay.
The first part of May.
Okay.
I'd love to have you. I'm inviting you now. I'll get the date for you.
Okay.
Right away.
If not, I'll get Nate from Catalina.
Yeah.
That's another story.
Yeah. Real quick about OBCN or any of these churches.
Yeah.
Again, we know a lot of people at St. Mark's, especially back before the build happened. But I was just thinking this: if anybody wants to feel what we've experienced as a family going to OBCN, and of course I'm very partial to that.
Just a little.
But come,
please. I would love to.
Come in. Look, you know what? If you can't walk in, first off, you're going to be greeted basically not an ambush, but somebody's going to be saying, "Hey, good morning, welcome." You're like right out of the gate. You're going to walk in there and just feel. I used to do a lot of volunteer work there. I'm cut back a little bit. I was there 4 times a week and running the video stuff. And sometimes I was tired, especially in the evenings, afternoons and stuff. I'd go in. But when I get there, I get that shot of adrenaline, and I'd feel so much,
nice,
so much lifted. But I would challenge anybody that wants to know what's going on over there. Come, I guarantee you cannot walk on the campus without somebody saying something nice to you and uplifting. And I just love standing like in the foyer and just getting hugs all day.
And you know what? We do. The reason I mentioned Nate from the owner of Catalina Towing is because, again, he's just an extension of your family, and all the people. We're fortunate enough to receive a lot of clients from that area, that church, that do. They go all along with our values of treating that customer like we walk into your facility.
I can't. I'm inviting you. Come out tonight.
I will be there. Oh, definitely.
But come. You're welcome. I mean, you would love it. You would love it. We always say, if you got a church that you're happy in, good for you. But but you come visit us, or if you are looking for a new church, and if it's not us, I know a lot of Pastor Mo over here.
Oh, Pastor Mo is phenomenal.
Come on.
Yeah,
I know a lot of. We have a church meets in here every Sunday.
Oh, do you?
It's called the Round Table Church.
Okay.
I'm the name of the pastor is nice, great young guy. He's got a nice little congregation that meets here every Sunday.
Okay,
they've been here for. I can't think of his name right now.
It's a gate.
No, they're across the street with Dave Willard.
Yeah,
matter of fact, they were in this week. We've done some. We're doing some stuff.
Nice.
And then real quick, I'll throw this at you. We have a faith-based a digital group called Your Digital Revival. We've got 102,000 followers globally.
Oh my gosh.
And it's expanding. I've got a lot of people now use this space in the afternoons to record recovery stories, testimonies, things like that are now, we're building our own radio station like we have at Live the Dream Media.
Okay.
That's separate from Live the Dream, but it's ran by Live the Dream. 24/7 free downloads, spiritual music, testimonies, ministries, family stuff, recovery stuff, marriage stuff.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things that I can just feel God saying, "Now, Clint, I've given you the resources.
Just go ahead and do it,
how
right?
about, come on." I've never heard God's voice. It freaked me out if I did, but that's how I was feeling.
I'm sure Tammy speaks for God.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to give it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to close the show right now with this. Okay. Let me get up. I got to get in my pocket real quick.
Okay.
I'm not. Let me see. Where's it? I surely have one in here. Oh yeah, there it is. I'm not fist. Now, Javier, I'm not fist bumping you. No. Hold your hand out. Hold your hand out. Everybody needs a little Jesus.
You know what? I kid you not. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have one in my computer.
Yeah.
At home, so it's when I see it.
Yeah.
It brings up my day.
You know how many of those she's passed out? And I'm not kidding. No exaggeration. 2,000.
Oh my gosh.
Of those.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah, and we were on an airplane not too long ago, and just something caused me to do that. And we had a prayer meeting on aisle 12 on the flight.
Oh,
well, you know, I unabashedly, you know, everything that I do is the blessings of our Lord and Savior. That's just 100%.
Look where you're at.
And exactly.
Look where I'm at.
Look, 100%. And you know what my board said over there in that side? So I stole this from Elwood Blues, the Blues Brothers, but we're on a mission from God.
Yeah.
And we don't lose sight of that fact. Hey, we have fun. We talk about a lot of stuff. Sometimes it's not always happy or pleasant stuff, but it's real life that need to be addressed.
Oh, absolutely.
And so there's no FCC. We don't have anybody dictating what we say or do. And you know what? We're not going to run from, you know,
the values.
The values. And you know what? If no one wants to be a part of that, then that's their choice. But I don't know any other way to do it.
And you know, you're doing a phenomenal job.
We're having fun. We're having fun.
You're good.
Hey, Javier, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. He had to leave the chamber meeting early to get over here and join us, and I appreciate that. So we're going to be back next Wednesday. I can't remember. We got Vera Earl coming up tomorrow on the Clint Peak Show. I have a young lady. Her name is Laura Kramer Clark. And she has jumped out of a perfectly good airplane
Has she really?
7,500 times.
Oh my God. 75.
7,500 jumps.
Oh my God.
This young lady, she jumps every day, I guess. 3 or 4 or 5 times a day.
What an adrenaline, huh?
Must be. I've jumped a couple of times. I don't know if you've ever jumped back when I was in the service.
No.
And that was enough for me. I'm
Right.
like, yeah, I'm fine not jumping. Hey, Javier, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Shay, as always, thank you so much. You just did a great job, and I know under your personal circumstances today, that was really, I really appreciate you stepping up for us. Guys, check us out next week. I know Vera Earl's coming, the meat company down there, but I'm not sure who David's got scheduled next week. I guess we'll find out together.
Absolutely.
Hey, check me on the Clint Peak Show tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Ron Arenas is on with Southwest Flavor at 9. And, of course, Chris DeSimone is on with Wake Up with Chris DeSimone at 6 to 9. Thanks again. Hey, real quick, you guys be nice to each other. You know, it's just not that hard if you try.
Right.